Hello, everyone. My name is Bina Bendale. Thank you for coming on the Entrepreneurial Talk Show. I have today Alex Dumas. So I'm super excited that you're here. And thank you graciously for allowing me to be sick and not feel like I had to be on a show while I was in the hospital.
You have my permission to be sick. You have my permission to be with your children. It's okay. As part of the contract, we of our agreement. So that's it.
Yeah, but I really do appreciate that. I was not anticipating being there as long as I was, but it is what it is. But I want you to introduce yourself. I want you to introduce yourself because when I read your bio, I don't read people's bios because I feel like I'm going to butcher it. And I want you to showcase you, but I also want you, this is your chance to really tell the world what do you really do? Because your bios, they're like this long. They're
Right.
like 100 words or 50 words. And I was like, look, there's way more to Alex Dumas than this. So what is it
Yeah.
that you do? Who are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Similar to what Shrek would say, right? Ogres are like onions. There's layers. And yeah, there's definitely layers to me. So I am my name, Alex Dumas. Most important things to know about me is that I'm a husband and a father. I got two beautiful
Mm-hmm.
kiddos, got my pups. And as far as what I contribute to the world and how I help people in the space of coaching, so working with leaders of color, helping them with their businesses, helping them break through corporate ceilings, helping them just advance professionally and whatever that looks like to them. Speaking, podcasting daily, monthly on my other community, having conversations like this and doing things from the stage where I help people with their leadership mindset, their communication, vice president of the BIPOC Coach Collective. If you don't know what BIPOC means, Black, Indigenous people of color. So
Mm.
essentially, the global majority who are not Caucasian is about including people who
Yeah.
are have been underrepresented, mislabeled, dismissed, discarded, and just helping these coaches elevate their voices in this profession and grow their businesses and head coach of the Black Executive Men. So that's been a
Mm.
fun experience working with these guys who are breaking into the C-suite and just working with them on their mindset and just tweaking, not even just tweaking, but helping them see resources that are available. And that's really a lot of the
Mm.
work that I do with people's helping them just to recognize like, oh, they want to do something, we just create and I just dial in some things and they can see things properly. So that's me in a nutshell. And
Mm.
soon to be published author. And
Mm. Tell me
that's
about that.
that's
What are you writing?
so the my I've contributed to this multi-author book is called A Journey of Riches, The Power of Self-Discovery. So anybody who's on my socials, today was the day that I shared the potential book covers, right? So we're doing like a test of it. So it's three covers for that. And my chapter, it was funny you talked about like my bio, like how to put myself in 50 words. I had 5,000 words in this book chapter. I'm like, how do I shrink my life into this? I found a way and I did it in my own creative way. I wrote it out as essentially like a movie, not with lines and stuff like that, but just like different acts, like just different sections that I think were relevant. And it's obviously the journey of what's led me here in this space of coaching and the different challenges I've had as a kiddo and teenager and young adult, and then finding this beautiful lady to flick me on the forehead. Hey, wake up. You're pretty great. You're pretty impressive. This is her saying these things to me. And I'm
Yeah.
recognizing, oh yeah, you might be right about that. I might be onto something. Let me kind of
So
move
tell
forward and
me,
be
what is
powerful.
some of the struggles that you did face? Because you've mentioned this now a couple of times, even within this next last 5 minutes
Yeah.
being on the call. What journey have you been on to be where you are today? What is one of
Yeah.
your struggles that you've seen or overcame now?
Yeah. One of the journeys, the parts of my journey, the struggle would be identity, right? Just
Mm.
figuring out who the hell am I? What am I here to do? And even beyond that, just do I exist? Do I belong anywhere? Is there a place
Mm.
for someone like me? And that happened
Mm.
at a little age, but 5, 6 years old. And I've told this story a lot where there was this family portrait, mom, dad, my older sister, older brothers. I'm the youngest of four. I can do math pretty decently. So I'm like, four kids, only three in this picture. And I make up a story that, oh, I don't belong here. I don't exist. I'm not important. The fact of the matter was I just wasn't born yet, right? That
Uh,
it wasn't like they took a picture and like left me in the carriage or something like that, or left me in the car or outside or something like that. It's just I didn't physically exist yet in this space. But that moment created a rift for me. I'm like, oh my God, I don't belong. I'm not here. I'm not important. That contributes to like not asking for things, right? Because it would have
Mm.
been an easy fix, like, Mom, Dad, I'm on this picture. Can we take a new picture? That would have saved me 30 years of all the headaches.
Just as a
But
curiosity, did you guys ever take another family photo
no,
with you in it?
not like that. Like, not really till my wedding with Sarah. We
Okay.
all worked together, but there wasn't like the Walmart pictures, like
Yeah, right,
all
right.
of us
Yeah.
together, right? It wasn't like that. Yeah, I never
And this
asked,
was up
and
in your house for this many years, and every day you're passing by this picture and you just weren't on it.
I'm just 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid. I'm just living my life, too, and I just happened to catch it one day. I noticed it, right? An awareness, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm not here. I'm like looking around, like, where am I? And just right away, I can't explain it
Mm.
in the sense that what makes sense is just it was instant, like lights off, like that
Yeah,
part of me shut off.
yeah.
And what I would do is I would collect evidence of backing it up of, oh, I don't belong here in this school. I don't belong here with these friends. I don't belong here. And
Yeah.
within my family, I collect the evidence. I was really good at that. I was a good detective.
Because our mind thinks of this, right? Our mind is going to tell us what we want to hear. And
Yeah.
from this image, from what you're seeing from a very short period of time, even though you weren't born physically yet, right?
Right.
But this is a really good testament to how much our brain plays tricks on us.
Yeah.
How this one incident, and it's very traumatic for you, and then how now your brain is showing you at different moments of time, saying, see, you don't belong here either. See,
Yeah.
you don't belong here now. Now look, you don't do this, or see, you're forgotten here.
Yeah.
Because our brain is still going in from that trigger from what you're seeing in that moment. I always call this the inside out moment, where it's like a core moment that goes in. Like I always,
Yeah.
it really was, it's just that
Yeah, it
it's a
is.
core memory that you built, and nothing right, wrong, good, or bad. That's how you perceived it,
Yeah, that's
and
it.
how that perception really filtered through to you for how many years, up until you just said your last family photo was at your wedding.
Yeah.
And you just said it earlier. The only way I could have solved that was saying, hey, Mom, Dad, let's take a new photo.
Yeah. But in that immediate moment, right, I just condemned myself. I didn't feel like my voice mattered.
Right?
Why would anybody listen to me? Like, I'm not even really supposed to be here. And collecting all this evidence, right? I had a good childhood, right? They obviously cared enough about me to feed me
Right.
and take care of
Right.
me and
Right.
love me. But I just had this underlying thing. Like, I was just like uncomfortable. I'm on the inside, but also on the outside. I was just never in sync with people.
Mm. Have you been in now, like fast forward now that we know that's one of the core things that triggered you? Fast forward now, have you been able to heal from that?
To a degree, but things still pop up and I'm
Okay.
able to catch it. And
Mm.
obviously with coaching and different things I've done, I have tools to
Mm.
examine it, have the self-inquiry and have just the maturity, honestly, to
Yeah.
look at it like, all right, what's behind this? What am I making of this? What's the story behind it? But
Mm.
I'm like, oh, okay, triggered by it. I sit with it, I'm annoyed by it or frustrated by it, and then I get to ask myself the beautiful question, what do I want to do about this?
Do you find that's one of the reasons of why your coaching is existing now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Because in my experience, when I was having these feelings and just not fitting anywhere, you listen in a different way to things,
Mm.
or you pick up
Yeah.
on things, you just drift along life. And it's actually made it like a superpower for me because I grew up in New York and
Mhm.
predominantly, obviously, I'm black. So I grew up with black people, minorities in my neighborhood, but the schools I went to were like predominantly white. So I got like these two worlds, right? So
Yeah.
talk about not fitting in again. I'm
Right.
like preppy over here. I'm in a blazer and polos, and my friends are like, man, you're whack. Like, you're corny, dude. Like, where's your Jordans? You have on penny loafers or whatever. And then I'm in these schools and they're like, you're not like, you're not black enough. Like, where's your bandana? Where's the
Mm.
hood? I'm like, I can I just be me? But it allowed me to just see things from both sides. I could just blend in with both worlds, and it is actually really helpful for me now because being able to see different perspectives, understand, oh, this is how they think, and this is how this group thinks, and not judge it. Just like, all right, this is I get a better understanding of your perspective, and
So now what do you do as a coach? What do you do like professionally as a coach? because I know we talked about BOPs and all that stuff. If you had to pinpoint one thing you're really good at coaching on, what would that one thing be?
Oh, good question. Jeez. Oh, I didn't say it's like the action side, like making things light,
Mm,
right? Because we as humans can make things really heavy and be like, oh my God, it has to be like this. Let's just slow down, let's just chill. Let's just take an ego view of things, step
mm,
back and see what's the real truth here.
mm. One of your superpowers is really taking somebody in the heat of a moment, really slowing them down, is what I'm hearing. Slowing them down, going back and taking this bird eye view of stating, okay, there's chaos here, there's chaos here. What action can we take to maintain that? Or what action can we take to really solve those problems in a healthy way?
Yeah.
Is what I'm
I
hearing you
just
say.
I like to look at it as making it a game. I was working with somebody a while back and they wanted to break off and they wanted to speak in schools, right? They're like,
Hmm.
man, I want to speak in schools. And they had just connected with a principal. Like they didn't even see this. Yeah, they just threw it away as a little thing. Like, yeah, I connect with the principal. I'm like, wait, hold on. You want to speak in schools. You just connected with this person a week or so ago. Have you called them? Oh, all
No.
right, right now.
Yeah.
Like, let's go into
Yeah.
motion. Let's get in action. Like, wait,
Yeah.
right here. Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna take myself off camera. You just do your thing. And they want to like having this conversation with this person a couple of days later, like they left a message and they got reconnected. But that's the thing. People think things are so impossible, right? It's like, oh
Right.
my goodness, it's so far away. I can never. It's like, no, we're gonna hold that right here, right now, because this is it.
Yes.
Let's get to it.
And you do that, and it's the power of the now, right? It's like one of the
Yeah.
main things I coach around, and people who were at my event last weekend, it was the main thing is it's the power of now. Like if you're going to
Yeah.
do something, stay in action. And I love this on how you take your clients on this journey where it's just you're giving them that space of hold on, you have everything you need and you haven't connected with them, and you're just like, wait one
Yeah,
second, let's just do
it's
this here.
hilarious.
A lot of people
Yeah.
feel like they're like, oh, I'll reach it's always that someday. Oh, I'll reach out to them next week. Or maybe they're busy, or maybe I'll do this, or
Yeah.
life occurs, or yada, yada, yada. All these excuses that people put in their head. Right. And it's
Yeah.
nice to see that people like you, when they're coaching with you, that they're really getting into that action mode. You're giving them that confidence, that space, right? Of, hey, if you're nervous, it's okay. I'm in your ears.
Right.
I'm listening to you. Just go do it. I'm in your ear. I'm giving you confidence while you're on the speakerphone with this guy, and just go talk.
Yes. And it's hilarious. They were like, they can feel like the cloud coming. They're like, hey, can I invite you to a game? They're like, oh no, not a game, damn it. But afterwards, and that's what I call them. I don't call it homework. I don't call it like sometimes I call it like missions, right? I just want to be playful with it so that they can bring their most creative, enthusiastic self to it. Because when
Hmm.
we're tense, we're tight, and they're like, oh, of course it didn't work. You're trying to be this buttoned up thing, and hey, got to show up. Just be you. If people are either gonna love it or hate it, that's the
Right.
choice.
Yeah.
Just
How do
give them a
you
chance
tell
to give
people,
them a
how do
chance.
you tell, especially young Black men and young men in general, how do you tell them how to be themselves when they're still in that world of being in that lost identity?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I just do my best to tap in and figure out like what's really driving you. When I talk from the stage, I talk about building a bigger bubble. So I'm like, what's that big vision you have?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I just like talk about the brick wall moment. He's wait, what do I stand for? And then he started telling me like, we got to help employees this way, and we want to help out the workforce. He started rattling all these things. I'm like, all right, who do you tell that to? I don't tell it to anybody. What do you think we should do now?
Well, maybe we
Like,
should voice that.
what do you think the next step is, champ? And I play with them. I have fun with it, but I don't make it a heavy thing for them.
Hmm.
And they, I think the biggest thing for me and for other men cubs, we just need the space to like actually think. That's not a privilege that we've had. It's
Mhm.
usually been fight or flight,
Yeah.
always on guard, can't show vulnerability. So just let that wall crack a little bit, let somebody in. And I'm here to protect, I'm not here to protect you, but I'm here to be a defender with you.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And once they see that, once they get that, okay, it's okay to like dream big around you. Yeah, like dream bigger. Let's go. Like this whole thing is here for us. Let's go get it.
age.
No,
I'm like,
no, for the most part, I would say I'm pretty low key. Like
yeah,
when I need to turn it up and charge up, I can charge up. Like right now, you can't see it, but like I'm starting to get damp. You're getting me ramped up. Like my undershirt's a little wet. I feel like I've been playing basketball right now. So when we're talking about this, when I'm thinking about people and their
yeah,
possibilities and the transformation, that's the juice for me
yeah,
because I know how powerful coaching is and how much it's changed my life. And we can give
yeah,
that to somebody, we can just help them wake up. That's the juice for me, for real.
yeah. What is something that you can do to help these young entrepreneurs? Like, what's one big advice you can give them right now?
Mm. I go back to the bubble. This is my like fun example. Just building a bigger bubble. I'll talk about who's available to you, who's what resources or who's available to you that can help you. Because
Mm,
just because you could do anything doesn't mean you have to do everything. Like make life easy on yourself.
right,
Who else has brilliance that you can leverage, not manipulate, not exploit, leverage
right.
to help you accomplish this big dream?
Yeah. Because it's like, it is the truth. And we see this a lot in the coaching industry. A lot of people will put people down to put themselves up. It's a dog eat dog world. Because I'm one of the big advocates for trying to dismiss that. I'm like, we're here for non-judgment. I'm here to endorse anyone and everyone. Actually, one of the reasons why this whole show even came on is so that way people do have a voice. People are able to say what they want to say to the entire world, or whoever's listening to this or whoever's not listening to this, and to really empower that. So, what is one thing you can do to like uplift that and also help some of that clatter go away, especially along, because in coaching, it is still very male dominant, right?
Yeah.
It's still very male dominant. But even though it's male dominant, it's like there's still like that little bickering, like you can see it as females, we can see it. Like, we're like, okay, man, you guys all just simmer down a little bit, you'll be fine. Like, how do
Yeah.
you help, especially with the newer ones coming in, like change that culture a little bit? Because it's hard.
Oh, I was just encouraging, hey, f find your lane, right?
Yeah.
Find the tribe that aligns with you. And there's plenty of communities, there's plenty of people, there's a lot out there, and test it out. And
Mhm.
that's only come from my experience. Okay, being in this room, it feels good here for a little bit. Start to see things like, not really aligning with me, and just be okay with exiting. You don't have to stay just because you don't have to feel obligated to be like, oh, they brought me here, so I guess I gotta. No, you're a freaking person. Just walk out. You
Yeah.
can exit stage left if you need to.
I think that's hard for a lot of people to do, though. I think that's where a lot of the time society is telling you, oh, you need to be in this community, you need to be in this community. And sometimes it might not align with you, but because society is saying we need all these things, not necessarily what you really need in your coaching career, I think
Yeah.
that's two separate things. And
Yeah.
it's real hard. So like, how do you for yourself, like, how do you let go of some of that clatter that's out there? I call it the Christmas bells behind you that you just can't turn off. Like sometimes it's
Yeah.
just like the Christmas music. You're just like, it's only July. But I'm just saying, like, I went to a store the other day and I'm like, Christmas right now? Like,
Yeah.
we haven't even gone through the rest of the stuff yet. But
It's on.
it's just, but again, it's just the advertisement. It's that thing of, oh, Christmas is around the corner. And so I always call it the Christmas bells. Like, how do you like control that for yourself? And then how do you help other people control that where the shiny object syndrome is not always shiny on the other side?
Yeah, in this context, I'll put it like this: with the BIPOC Coach Collective, we didn't find a space for Black and brown folks who are in this
Mm,
coaching space, who are doing well, who are out to really make a difference. We didn't see a place for us, so we just built our own. This woman, Reem Labie Tyson, she's the one who founded the group in July 2020. I got involved like shortly after because I was looking for it. I had just come out of an
mm,
experience with Rich Lippin and his wife, where
mhm.
that was my first experience with being with everybody else was Black. He was the only white person in this coaching container. I'm like, oh, this is dope. I want more of this.
Ah,
And back to the mind again, I start looking for it. I want what I want. And sure enough, I find this group and I'm like, hey, this feels like home. This feels like the place to be.
mm. What group is
For any,
this? So people can hear that. And so people
it's
are
called,
looking for it. They can reach out to you for this.
yeah, you can tap in on, we're on LinkedIn, BIPOC Coach Collective, BIPOC Coach Collective. And For anyone watching, if you don't have a group that aligns with you, just build your own. It can be 5 people, it could be 3 people, it could be
Mhm.
yourself. Have a by yourself meeting. But seriously, like just you don't have to stay where you feel like you don't belong. And
Mm,
honestly, there's enough of us out there in the world. You belong somewhere. And if you don't,
mm.
then find a place where other misfits like you find, build an island, misfit island.
It's like Bluey. You can melt your own island. Yeah. Hey, I watch a lot of Bluey in my house. My kids are 10, 7, and 6. We watch Bluey,
Yeah.
but Bluey, in all fairness, is like it's phenomenal show for adults. I'm a big Bluey fan, but it's also phenomenal things. But they build an island with toys. It's literally they build their own island and it's all imaginary play and it comes in. And you're right, it's what you create. I think what I'm hearing you say is if you want something that is not readily available to you, then create it. And I think the world of creation, people get scared on the world of creating because they feel that
Hmm.
there is some sort of like magic sauce or some sort of perfectionism that comes behind it, right?
Yeah.
And I think behind that, what you're saying is that if you don't have it, you don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be lonely. You can create whatever that you want to create. You just have to make a stand for what it is that you stand for. So
That's it.
I'm happy you found your community because a lot of the times that's really difficult when people are like, "Oh, I don't know and I don't feel lost," especially with you with the trigger from such a young childhood to now
Yeah.
finding something that you feel comfortable in. I'm like, I just want to say I acknowledge you for that because
No,
that's a
thank
big
you.
deal. That's a big
No,
deal.
it is. It is. I appreciate it. So it's received for sure.
What's one thing that's fun that you do?
Create, like making music. I love barbecuing. I drive the family crazy because once I start getting ready to like brisket in particular, and I start barbecuing brisket, they're like, "Oh, Dad, you're watching another video. Don't you already notice?" No, there's always new stuff I can learn. There's always new things I can tweak and test out. So that's stuff geeks. I get geeky about that and just making music for sure. That's fun for me.
Like,
So on my phone, there's like a bunch of like different apps, like you can make beat loops and stuff like that. So
yeah, yeah.
I play with it, tweak things, change tempos, keys, all that kind of stuff. I've always loved music. If I wasn't doing this, like if I had any real ability to to play, like I have guitars in my house, but I'm not even I'm barely a functioning guitarist. Like I suck. But that's part of practice. But with these things, like I just stay. I listen to them. Like I'll score like things that I record because it's just fun for me. I like doing that kind of stuff.
That's fun. Do you
Yeah.
incorporate some of that into your coaching?
Yes. Yeah. Because when I'm making audios, so let me back up. So this got inspired when I still do. I listen to a lot of Steve Chandler and his
Mhm.
audios. And if anybody loves Chandler, this is not a judgment. So Steve, don't hate me on this, but and he even says it, his voice can be very just, hi, it's Steve Chandler. So I started to listen to some of the stuff with like background music on, like I would put on some hip hop instrumental beats. I'm like, God, it's really good. I don't know why. It just, I can listen to it and just connects with me different. So I would start making audios like that. And then I thought to myself, why don't I just do that for myself? And so I just started making my own beats, making my own audio things. And sometimes I'll send them out to clients or I put them up on a website. Even my daily
Mhm.
podcast, like it's every day is a 3 minute show. It's scored to this one song, and that's how it's been for nearly 4 years. It's fun.
That
It's
I think
I
the
make it
point
fun to
is,
get.
it's just like you have. I think one of the big thing I want to remind people is that you have to have fun in life. You know, this
Yeah.
like your passion, your energy, everything shifted when I asked you this question. Like you were very like, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm having this. And I think it's just I want people to remind people is that you have to have fun when you're coaching. You have to have fun when you're in life with whatever you're doing in life. Because if you don't find something that you have fun in, it just becomes a job.
Yeah.
It just
Because of
becomes
the
a job.
obligation. Oh, I have to work with this client now. Are you kidding me? Like you get to work with someone. You get to help somebody with
Mhm.
it's the something to nothing thing.
Yep.
Man, there's nothing here. I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden, this one idea, this one insight creates something, and then they can go forward and do something with their life. That's awesome. That's fun.
Yeah. So how do you have fun in your business right now?
I'm always creating like games for myself. This is right here. So this is my game. It's got pretty
Oh, I
much all
can't
the
see.
things like
Oh, I see now
I
a
was
little
up to
bit.
today. It's a little checklist thing,
Yeah.
but it's for me, it's like, all right, how present can I be with this person? Or what's a fun question I can ask somebody? Or what's the thing that's gonna make them really think about what they're up to
Hmm.
and dream big?
Hmm. You
And
want to play a game with me? Let's play your game.
what's been the best part of your day today?
The best part of my day today, honestly, is I'm in creation mode again.
Ooh, tell me
So,
more.
so when I am in creation mode, I play a game with myself, similar to you, with what is Bina going to do next? And when I get into this mode, that's when creation occurs. So I played a game and I was able to talk to several people on the throughout the day. And I can honestly, probably even announce it now that Supermom CEO Part 2 is coming in February. You know, that was the fun part of the day. Like we literally were just like, okay, when are we gonna do this? Oh, we can do this. Then between a brainstorm between a friend of mine and here, they're just like, how about February, March? And I said, that sounds wonderful.
Mm,
And I was like, all right. And then we started playing the roulette game of like, where are we gonna do it? It will be here in the city again. And then it's just
okay.
more of where and what hotel. And then we started playing roulette of like hotels, like game of roulette around which hotel we wanted to do. Do we want to go back to the location that we are, or are we playing a roulette to something else? But that's really what that was my fun thing today.
Mm.
And now I have to go pack because I fly out to Chicago tomorrow.
What are you doing in Chicago?
I'm going to Jamin Patel's. I'm doing his
Oh, you're
possibility
doing oh,
summit. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm speaking at his possibility summit on Sunday. So I went from literally this event to having multiple calls with Jamin because he's like, Bina, I need your speech. And I was like,
Yeah.
Jamin, I don't have it. I am creating it. What I
So shout
thought
out to
I
Jamin.
had.
Love you, Jamin. That's my guy right there.
But it's
Yeah.
the truth. What I thought I had is now the speech I wanted to create. I actually had it. And then when I was recording it and I sent it to him, we both were like, yeah, I don't like this. So I'm now restarting it from scratch. And that's my point. It's just that's the fun part. That is playing your game.
That's the fun part. What do you
Yeah.
want to say from the stage on Sunday?
Oof. So it is going to be, it's always the same talk about real life with special kids, and it's the
Yeah.
parent's perspective. And this one is about the possibilities of parenting. And I think that's what kind of tripped me up, to be honest with you, because I was like, I have a TEDx on this. Like, I'm doing a TEDx at the end of this year on this talk. But then when you throw the possibility portion of it, I got tripped up. And I think that's where, honestly, where I was like, hold on, Jamin, what is this possibilities part of this? Like, I have to break up my talk. So now we're combining two of my talks together.
Uh,
And then the possibilities of just reminding people that if you do have a parent with special needs, reach out to them, say hi, say hello. What can you learn from me as a parent? And what can I
mm,
learn from you as as a normal, typical parent? Like we can learn each other. Like bedtime for me is difficult. Bedtime for you might be real easy. The other day I just spoke to a mom. They're like, yeah, I put my kid down and I walk out the room. I'm like, oh man, that's like my dream.
yeah.
I just need to sleep.
I feel you. This is bringing me back to the days I used to work with special needs individuals. I just think about the families. Like I was only there for a small portion of the day,
Mm.
right? 8 hours, 10 hours, and they're living it. I'll forget about bedtime. Stuff that I would take for granted, like bath time. Whew. Dinner time, like all
Baths.
these different things, just getting out. Like, hey, we gotta go to Walmart. Yeah.
Bath time with us is a very big challenge. Yeah. When normal typical kids is you go bath, it's fun. Yes, it's challenging to an extent, but majority of the time it's real fun. You
Nah.
put them in the bath, you play with them, or as they get older, You just have to help them, especially for females, like a lot of the girls, you just have to help them wash their hair. And then with the boys, is more of make sure you clean everything, get everything,
Get the
you know.
berries too. Get the twig and berries because
Right. Exactly. Right. But
like
it's
I washed. No, you got wet. You didn't
you
wash.
didn't take a bath. You just put water on yourself. And I had to do this
Like,
with my youngest. I'm like, you just put water on yourself. You still stink. Can you go back and take a shower?
don't do a prison shower like in the sink, just like splash. Yeah, I'm good. Where's the soap? I love that with my son. He's 9 now, but there'll be days I'm like, your washcloth, like the loofah or whatever, like
Yeah,
is
yeah,
dry. Oh, I washed. Like I washed earlier.
yeah.
Like, bro,
When?
with
Yeah.
with what? Yeah, a wipe is not gonna do it.
But it's a real challenge though, right? Like the
Yeah,
challenge
yeah.
is real. But like with Rohan, like getting him into a shower, there's a huge meltdown with that. We have to talk about it, then we have to role play it with clothes on, what we're gonna do to then, okay, we're gonna get in there, and then he checks, are there spiders? Is there a shadow? And then there's a point where we're like, yeah, motherfucker, just get in. You're like, you're going in. You know? And then it's a struggle, right? Even after that.
Yeah.
So you try to make it a play, a game, and do things. And now when Rohan says, Mommy, I want to take a bath, I'm like, let's go. Drop
Yeah.
everything dropped. Let's go. What do we do? Like,
Yes.
let's go now. We're going now. And it's my husband. It is 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't care. He said he wanted to take a bath.
Yeah.
Let's go. You
Yeah. Take
know?
the victory while you can get it. Take the win.
Exactly. And those are things that you can come in. That is where this particular conversation is going. Actually, you gave me an idea actually to how to start it. So I appreciate that.
Well, hey,
I
there we
like
go.
now. You just sparked
That's it.
something that we can start with.
That's
Um,
it.
and that's what I love about these talks is just like you just never know. Like you didn't know what I was gonna ask you. I never know what I ask myself half the time.
Well, that's the fun. You get to be curious
You.
and really engage with it.
Yeah.
So tell me about 2020 when you.
When I was at the Supermom CEO event, which your wife was one of the presenters, which I'm gonna give a shout out to Sarah. And the panelists even, they were very emotional. They got very raw. And
Hmm.
one of the ladies on my panel, they were like, she's maybe I should have asked for the questions prior. And then I honestly told her, I said, to be honest with you, I won't, even if I gave you questions, I probably would go rogue. So let me just be real with that. And then I had a
Yeah.
conversation with that lady today, and she goes, I appreciated that. I appreciated you telling me that. I said, because I just don't know what's going to come out. I don't even know what's going to come out of my own mouth half the time until I'm in it.
Yeah. And it's more fun that way. It's funny when I do the podcast for the BIPOC Collective. So we do a monthly show, and people are like, can you send me questions? I'm like, I can't do that. Even if I did, like you said, going rogue, going off script. Like I had this conversation with Sarah the other day. We were just talking about coaching and things like that. Do you like structure? Do you like spontaneous things? I'm like a jazz musician. I like the notes. I like having the sheet music,
Mhm.
but I need to improvise. I need to tweak. Even if you gave me a template of, hey, this is how you do it. I I can't turn the creative switch off. I have to do my thing with it because
Mhm.
that's how I'll own it. That's how I'll connect with it. That's how I'll make it mine, and it'll be more fun that way.
That's how you have fun in coaching. That's what you come in. You are an amazing speaker as well. And I
Thank you.
know that you guys are also creating a speaking program. I wanted you to know. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So our
Talking about
program's called
speaking.
Speak About Speaking. This is the brand amplifier experience. So that's going to be starting in September. And it's going to be a 4 month container of just helping coaches, speakers, consultants revamp, reboot their like who they are, right? Get their message across clearly, helping them with their keynotes of, hey, let's not just talk. Let's make it an experience. Let's bring the body into it. Let's bring the theatrics into it. Because for lack of a better word, this is a performance, right?
Mhm.
And we want to be memorable. So are people going to
Yeah.
remember, this is me, I'm Alex, and I am a coach. Tell the story, be the person in the story. I just had a VIP day with somebody, and he was telling me his story about a time that he had a drug overdose. He almost died.
Mm,
Like
mm,
literally. And he was telling me the story about his mom walking down the hallway and like hearing his voice, just having this intuition. Let me go check on him in his room, man. he's in his bed, like foaming, convulsing, like
Oh
the whole
no.
deal. And his father is usually not home at night. He works, but for whatever reason, he was there home that night. And thank God he was, because he wouldn't have made it, because dad got on, helped him with CPR, mom was calling the ambulance, and he wound up being all right. And he's like, he's going into it. He's doing the whole full freak out. I'm like, you do that from the stage, people are never going to forget that moment.
It's that captivating story
That's it.
or the
So
hook or
that's
whatever it is.
so that's what we want to help people capture on camera and also with their pictures, right? So we're gonna prep people for a couple months, for about 2 months, and then we're gonna have the in-person experience in Raleigh, North Carolina, November 7th. We booked out the studio. Gonna be interviews with us, photos, all the fun stuff, and then afterwards we're gonna talk about how to leverage that, how to book talks, how to get your voice out there. So that's the brand amplifier experience in a nutshell, where you get me and her, the best of both worlds, where she's going to go over a lot of strategy pieces and what she's done to get in front of millions of people in a short amount of time. Because Sarah wasn't really as gung ho about speaking as I was.
Yeah.
And she's a hugger too, but she wasn't necessarily, I don't know, like, she wasn't really about that. But then I could see how this could help my business. Let me leverage it. And she's been exploding all over the place with different talks, obviously getting to be a part of your Supermom CEO event.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have her, you have me being Captain Caveman, Wild Man, just getting you to embody the story, right? And really
Yeah.
deliver that in a consistent way, time and time again. So that's the brand amplifier in a nutshell.
Well, it's good that people knows that because it is if for the ones who are wanting to speak,
Mm.
utilizing your story and utilizing what comes up, there is a different way of speaking.
Yeah.
And really captivating your audience is really within the first 30 seconds of what are you doing?
Yeah.
You have to really captivate that audience within that. You need to make them wonder what the fuck is going on here. You really gotta wait. When you walk in, they're just like, what? Am I at a show or did she just cuss? Did she just bomb us here? And the answer is yeah. You
Yeah.
know,
Wake people
because
up.
it's just like we want them to show you, but it's also the story that goes behind you. It's like theater in a way,
It
right? It's
is.
not like
Yeah.
theater in a way of like in your story. Like as a great example, what you said, I am very blessed that your friend is alive and well. So I give
Yes.
credit where credit is due. And I pray for that mom and that dad who had to witness that. But that moment when you said, be your mom walking to down that hall and that
Mhm.
imagine that her emotions, it's true. It's just imagine those emotions that comes in.
Yeah, and
And
it is theater and it's played. This is a great quote that a mentor of mine gave me. He's like, when you're on the stage, you get to love yourself and let people watch.
yeah.
And oh, like love myself. What does that mean for me? All right, get to embrace all the fun, quirky, weird, sad, happy, like the whole gamut, and it's there for people to watch. And when you can do that from the stage and you can do it unapologetically, be authentic, then you hold nothing back, and you can walk away with your head up like, man, I gave everybody the best I got, and I can't wait to do to the next crowd and next audience,
Mm.
wherever that is.
I think the biggest challenge when people are speaking on stage is the shyness kicks in, the nervousness kicks in. And before we head
Mm,
off, before we end this talk, like how do you tell people like how do you get over that? Like how do you tell people to get over that? Because that's a big hurdle. Even for me, some days, like if you were to tell
yeah.
me, like, how do I get over that? Like I have a talk that I have to prepare. It's a 10-minute talk that I'm doing in what 72 hours now, basically. I'm good individually. I'm good in
Right.
a small group. I'm good in a larger group. I'm good on stage. But the minute the lights go on, it's like something triggers me. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh shit, here we
Yeah.
are.
It
How
takes
do
me
you
back
overcome
to
that?
this takes me back to when I used to do amateur boxing, right? There's a lot of guys who are great gym warriors, right? They look great training, sparring, blah, blah, blah. The lights come on and I don't know what to
Freeze.
do. And you said the word that's magic, prepare.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is give yourself the opportunity to embody it everywhere you go. When I was preparing for the ultimate experience this year,
Mm-hmm.
my daughter would make fun of me because I'm dressed in the suit. Like I got the shoes on, my ring light, I'm underneath the lights. I'm gonna make sure I want to feel the sweat. I'll get into it. And she's, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm preparing because I don't want the first time that I'm on stage to be the first time I say the words that I say it this way, that I want to move. I need my body to be the instrument too. And
It's
that also comes
practice, job
from,
practice.
yeah, practice. And that comes from bombing too. I think of it like a comedian's mentality. I don't want to do bad in front of an audience, but if it happens,
Yeah,
I'm gonna learn something.
right.
And not every crowd I've been in front of, like I've shared it on social media. I've been transparent about, hey, I bombed right here. This sucked. And guess what? This is what I learned from it. This is how I get to show up next time. And it empowers me and embodies me. And it also helps me with other speakers and coaches that I work with when they're like, I don't want to do it. Like, listen, if I can shit the bed right here, you'll be fine. Let's work on it. And the last point of this is really being connected to what you want to say. Because if
Yeah,
I know what I want to say, if I know this is actually useful and contributes and can help people, then
yeah,
I'm like, we're going. Like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking, I'm speaking it into you, I'm speaking through you in that moment.
yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is you have to, when you're speaking, you got to really feel your speech, which is in my world right now, the speech that I wanted to do, I literally just crumbled it up and I literally told Jamin, I'm like, I'm starting over. I
Yeah.
do not feel aligned with what this is stating. It does not feel natural to me today. It felt natural to me 2 weeks ago or maybe a month ago, but right
Right.
now it doesn't feel like it. And here I am, literally with my book out, going, I better get right. I better get an outline going because
Yeah.
it has to go. Like we have the talking points. I have it in me. There's a lot going on, but it is that fear of, okay, I need to practice it. And when I did practice it, and I tell everyone, the number one thing to practice on yourself, get on Zoom and practice. Because you'd be surprised with how many times you fucking mess up. And then you're like, let me record that again. Let me record that again. And then practice in different other rooms. I always tell people, like in my coaching container, when they have their I help statements come out, and I was like, embrace it. One thing I tell
Yeah.
people is when you have your I help statement, I said, say it in different locations in your house. State it on the
Mm.
table, state it under the chair, state it in the shower. One of the girls took me seriously. There's a funny TikTok video on this for Valerie, I love you. And she's in the shower, she's stating it underneath the she's saying it. She comes up and she's saying it. It's a funny TikTok video. But is that it is real because when they say it in different rooms, there's different energies, whether there's tile in the room, it's going to hear differently. When there's
Yeah.
on carpet, it's going to feel different, right? So, like when we're doing speeches, this is one of the tricks that I've learned is that I'll say it in the bathroom, then I'll say it on carpet, then I'll say it on the top of my stairs, then I'll say it on the
Yeah.
bottom of my stairs, then I'll go outside in my backyard and do it. Then I'll practice it in my car, and then I'll scream it, and then I'll soften it. Because then all the
Yeah.
Uber Jupiters, all that weird gushy shit that comes out on you, it all done. I have my ring light literally right here. Then I
Yeah.
do what you say. I go in my closet and I turn dark and I just turn the ring light on
Mm. Yeah.
because it's pitch black and it's just bright ass light in my face because that's all I can on stage. Like
Yeah.
people are that's all.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm hot. I'm dying underneath here. And I have to, who's the person in the crowd? They're all just one is a blur.
It's
It's
just
like,
black.
yeah.
And sometimes I can't even see. All I see is the light in my face. And then someone's, did you see me? I'm like, all I saw was the light in my face. I didn't see you waving nothing. I wish I did. It would have left my nerves a little bit because I feed off the crowd. I feed off of people's inputs and people like either going up or waving, or especially when they're all staring at you and you're just like, they're
Yeah.
really paying attention to you now. Better say something good.
Better say something good. Another way to practice too, like with the different scenarios, the different locations, practice to talk in different styles, right? Let's make this funny. Let's make it dramatic. Let's make it adventurous. So that way you can pivot, you can play with it however you want, right? If I tell the story
Mhm.
about the trauma as a kid, I can tell in a fun way, hey, I'm the youngest of four, look at me, I'm out here. Or I can make it very deep and dark and yeah, this is how it affected me. Oh,
Yeah.
I want to grip people, however I want to play with it, you can, but have that tool in your toolbox. Think about like Tom Brady, right? Do you think that when
Well,
you see him like,
I'm still in the
well,
city, man. I'm still a Niners fan.
so I was about to bring up Mahomes, so never mind. But when you think about these guys who excel, it's not the first time they've ever practiced 2-minute drills, right? Do you think that
No.
they show up on Sunday. No, they've rehearsed this thousands
Right.
upon thousands of
Right.
times. It's like, all right, I'm here. Whew, I've been waiting for this moment now. Like,
Right.
oh my God, we have 30 seconds left, 50 yards to go. Let's freaking go. Now
Yeah.
it's game on.
And that's a good analogy I want people to remember is that when you're doing anything, whether it's coaching, whether it's speaking, this conversation speared towards speaking, which is totally fine, is
Yeah.
that when you're doing these, anything that you're doing, it comes from rehearsals. Like you got to practice it. When you are coaching, comes in, you got to do things that are free for a while. That comes in. So your coaching even becomes, it's not, let me get on this call with Alex and I've never done this before. After practice, after knowing what you're doing, knowing your style, even with speaking, practicing it in different locations, high notes, low notes, crying it, people like do it lying down. It's
Yeah.
also that way you're able to have it. So when the time comes, you don't freeze. And if you
Yeah.
do freeze, I tell people just shake it off, do a little funny dance, let everybody laugh about it yourself, and just think that's part of the act and keep going.
That's
Because
it.
no one will know you did mess the fuck up. Because I've done that plenty of times. You know, I've done it plenty of times. They're like, was that
Can you
part
show
of
us the
this?
funny dance? Is there a...
Troopers. And I do it. I did it multiple times this weekend. And it's funny, someone was like asking me to go, so actually your wife, and it comes in. And we were like, so what's the plan for tomorrow? You know what? I'm not 100% sure. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, what I mean is I have an agenda and it's my first event. Now I know exactly how it's going to flow and stuff and what worked, what didn't work comes in. But prior, you know, everything
That's...
in those moments where I was just like, comes up, I'm like, we're having a dance party. Let's get up and move. But it's okay to do that. And when you're on stage and when you have 10 minutes to go and you made everybody laugh in like that 30 seconds because you did a funny dance that was quirky and all of a sudden they're just like, why is this girl dancing? It's because I forgot my words. You're human. I think back to that. You are human. It is okay.
It is okay.
It is
Yes.
okay. Alex, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Holy
Is there
crap.
any
Wow.
last words you'd like to tell people?
Words matter.
Mm,
They create everything. So be mindful of what you say, what you speak, and when you do speak, to make a difference.
mm, mm. I will end it on that. That is powerful. All right, everyone. This will be on YouTube. It will be up for the next 72 to 48 hours, just like it normally is. We take it down by Monday. If you want to get a hold of Alex, if you want to be in his speaking program, please reach out to us. His information will be in the links below. And him and his wife are doing some amazing things. And I cannot thank you both. And thank you for being here. And you guys, your guys' speaking stuff is just, you guys are good people. Like real good people, you know, like it's an honor for them. Whoever is working with you, it'd be an honor to work with you. And for anyone that's wants to know more information about the other community that you were talking about, I don't want to butcher the name. What was the other community?
Yeah, BIPOC, the BIPOC Coach Collective.
Yeah.
We're on LinkedIn, so just put that in. Or I think, I think I gave you the link for it. So whatever, you'll find us, just or find me, and I'll throw you in
Connect
there.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it just comes up. And if you can't get a hold of Alex, you guys know you guys can always reach out to me. I will connect you with him. And until next time, guys, have a good day.
Stay blessed, y'all.